We need a new computer and a new camera.
I've got the computer picked down.
It says starting. We are live, maybe. It says live at the top. But it says offline, too. Why does it say live and offline?
Just taking a little bit.
It says we are live. Do you want to check your phone, Kurt, and see if we're actually live? If I'm talking to you right now, we can't see that we're actually on. So if I sound like a complete idiot, which is normal half the time, that's why. So while we have this fireside chat, I'm either talking to myself or I'm talking to all three of you who actually watch this show and haven't told your friends yet. I don't know why you haven't. You should be helping us promote this. So if you're not helping us promote this, you're kind of failing. Wouldn't you agree, Vince?
Yeah.
Yeah, get on that shit, guys. Come on now.
I mean, I'm a very pessimistic person.
Vince is pessimistic. Vince thinks the world's going to end like next week, and I don't know.
No, I'm not that type of pessimist. Well, maybe.
Yeah, he's also a libertarian.
Which
I want
makes
to get
me
into
awesome.
that. You know,
But
slightly gay.
he is probably gay. Hey, we are actually live.
That's got to be live, right?
So we are live again. We're running behind. So all that conversation you heard was
I'm not.
what's going on. But here we are. We got a really awesome show for you today on the Reptile guys. And again, you've got myself. I'm Matt Gambrell here from Olympus Reptiles. We got the coach, Vince Lombardi.
Yep.
And we've got Scaly Dave Karnowski, both from Manhattan Reptile World. And all of that stuff is kind of starting to meld into one thing anyway.
Well, I'm wearing my original OG Cones of Zoological Supply shirt. This is actually the second. This is actually number 2 after the even more original Little Apple Herb.
What happened? Is there some original Scaly Daves?
This is in the back of Scaly Dave's.
Back of Scaly Dave's. In the back of Scaly, that sounds dirty.
Yeah.
We also have camera guy Kurt over there who's working our magic online. And it wasn't him that made us late. It's honestly the fact that I have a laptop made in about 1987 that we're still trying to use. And we had some customers in the store pretty late, kind of slowed us down. So, apologize for being late for the 3rd week in a row. One of these days we'll be on time. Before we get into our meat and potatoes, which is going to be kind of all about monitors and that family, correct?
Yeah, brand a day.
Brand a day. There's something I want to show you guys. It's kind of an update. The first show we did, we had a really, really crappy camera. It was actually the built-in camera. And I attempted to show you one of our red Atroxes, which we've taken to calling blood diamonds. These are wild caught. We have 3 of them, and we showed you the smaller one. Well, the larger ones shed, so I've selected one that I want to show you today that has shed. Hey, Vince, you want to do me a great big favor while you're running back up with that?
Mm-hmm.
When we get it going, I'll probably have you just pick up that camera with that tongue. We're just going to stick it in there so I get a good view. How's that sound?
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Now, he may not like the camera, but that's okay.
Won't you walk by before?
Well, we're going
Yeah, go. No, you go before I kick the
I
lapis.
need him to say that for safety's sake.
Sure.
Now watch what we're going to do. We're going to get mobile here and freaky. Now here comes the.
things.
Well, this is the knockoff high quality Pakistani Midwest tongs.
Tongs. This is actually Midwest tongs. I have my hook today and not the crappy one that's shit. In there, we just dropped you guys. I apologize.
Well, why apologize? It's like a amusement ride.
We do remove the latches with tools. We don't ever do anything that's going to put me in a bad spot. Like now, I see where that snake's head is, so I'm going to choose to spin this around. Reason being, I'd rather that snake be looking at Vince. He looks like a better meal than me, anyway.
Now check on the image quality.
Well, it's like frozen right now. It'll take a minute to catch up. We'll get some good images. And we're going to use the hook.
Okay.
Go ahead and open that lid.
Now take a look at the color on this animal now that it's shut out. We did post on our Facebook page a video of it in mid-shed, and you can see where it's got a little bit of damage on its one side on the head, but it's a gorgeous animal.
And the damage, I believe, the area where this particular snake was caught had a wildfire go through. So I imagine that is some burn damage from some of that. We think he's probably actually blind in one eye as well. We'll see if we can't get him out so you can see the size. And again, we're just going to use our tool. We're going to be really gentle with him. I've had my best success. I let him kind of crawl through because they really want to get away from you. So if he thinks he's doing that, a lot of times we can get him to get up on the hook and cooperate. I can also show you, we're going to have to tail him now. You got it. There we are. Now we're up in the air.
And he'll want to stay.
Yeah. Once they're up, they don't want to fall. So I can keep them up here for quite a while. We didn't even have to tail him to do that, which is good. Tailing's a little bit, looks a little scary if you haven't done it. I wouldn't tail if I'd been drinking, and for the record, we have had no beer so far today, which I haven't, and neither has Ben. I hope this is still live and showing some good color, because I can't see what it's showing. If we can look.
Still not caught up yet?
No, it does that sometimes. I'm going to turn this way. If you can get the underneath side, there's even a red tinge to the belly.
Yeah, I already got some of
Did
that.
you get some of that?
Yeah.
And the thing I think is really cool are the eye stripes on this reddish yellow.
Yeah.
This is just a, there we go. Now we can see what we're getting. Okay, so I just wanted to update you guys on the Blood Diamond project. I love these guys. Vince thinks I'm strange because I have a great affinity for these rattlesnakes.
No, I love rattlesnakes. I've actually really looked into them a lot and followed them. But you know, the thing is there's just so much stuff. I'm one of those people who can never make a buck with reptiles because I don't focus on one thing appropriately.
And the thing is, and again, when you deal with hots, everything slows down. Remember, he doesn't really mind the hook too much because there's no heat. But if I were to stick my hand in that cage right now, he would bite me. We'd be going to the hospital. For putting this lid on, I'm not in a really great spot to stick my hand down there because he's a loaded for bear. I'll show him the way I can do it from here.
Oh, okay.
Because he's loaded for bear. You see that curved position that the snake is in. I don't know if you guys can see that. Probably can now. So, can we see that? I don't think we can. Can you bend that screen down just a little bit?
We could move the camera.
There you go.
I think that's part of the problem.
Anything that gets in there is going to be struck at. So the best thing to do is I'm going to stay really low, just kind of prop that there, and then again, try to use my tools. Just kind of. It does say we're live. And just kind of slide that on there and take my time. No hurry. No hurry whatsoever.
Wouldn't you agree that things go a lot faster when you move slowly?
With rattlesnakes?
Well, with any kind of dangerous situation.
I don't know if they go a lot faster. They damn sure go a lot safer. You know, and as long as he's cooperating and I'm not putting anything that's going to get him too excited in the range of a bite that he can bite through. Come on.
Wait a second. You mean this is the type of snake you don't snuggle with?
Exactly. And then even now, once we got him down, I'm going to pin that lid down before I use anything to flip that latch up. And that's why. You just saw him strike. He can't go through that plastic. But if I don't have that lid pinned down and anything goes wrong,
He might slip through an edge.
yeah, if he slips through,
Get one tooth in you.
one thing's enough to make me lose my hand. So it's a game we don't want to play. And once he's sealed up, we're good. And I'm going to pass it off to these guys to start talking about some monitor lizards.
Okay. So,
If you want to lead that hook, I'll come around and we'll trade.
okay.
I'll get that.
Okay. All right. So,
One other quick thing on thin plastic, like that lid, I'm not going to stick my hand on top of it. I'm holding by the thicker edges right there. I'm not carrying it into my body just in case. Okay. And we'll be back after you. We're going to put him up.
All right, what we're going to go through right now, Vince is kind of our local expert, and he's taken a kind of a in-depth interest into varanid monitor lizards, and so I'm going to kind of turn it over to him and be his gopher while he's talking about it. he's going to probably go through some of the etymology and the natural history of the family Varanidae, which are squamated lizards they're old world lizards, and I'm gonna let him talk about it. I'm just gonna play the gopher, the back and forth. If he wants me to bring a monitor over, I'm gonna do it. But this is Vincent Lombardi talking about varanids.
Okay, so let me show you quite quickly what we got going on back here behind me. Now this right here is a real basic, real cool kind of waterfall display cage that we put together for a small, and we want to emphasize small and young, non-permanent in any way, cage for a water monitor, an Asiatic water monitor. This is a brand new thing that just opened up, where we just got it going, so it's just now developing some algae. We're going to get some large fishes in there that hopefully will interact well with the monitor. Now, I know what you're thinking. Water monitor, fish eater. Sometimes you got to break some eggs to get something cool. Hopefully it'll come out right. We'll get a good balance with a species, maybe a large placo that the monitor just doesn't want to mess with.
Now, this cage probably isn't going to be appropriate for an adult water monitor, so we're thinking something more like this. This is a talk a little bit about this species.
Well, this is a relative. This is Varanus indicus. This is a mangrove, and these actually get a fairly large size too. Not nearly as large as a Asian water monitor, which is the second largest in the world. These guys right here are related, however, and they're for one of the two groups of monitors. You essentially have two types of monitors. You have beaked monitors, like this guy right here, and you have snouted monitors, what are sometimes called blunt snouted monitors. You have your Africans and West Asians, like your Savannah monitor, which is very common, very typical. And then you have your black throats, white throats, capes. And then in the only type of this monitor that you'll find in Africa really is the Nile monitor, of which they've pretty much confirmed 3 species. And they've also kind of coincidentally confirmed 3 species feral in the United States of those guys. Now, the thing about monitor lizards is you're talking about a huge, very diverse group of lizards. They range, like I said, from Africa through the Middle East over into the South Pacific and up into Southeast Asia. Now, obviously,
you see a lot of Middle Eastern monitors in the pet trade.
well, there's a number of reasons for that. Some monitors do, frankly, better in captivity than other monitors, and politics gets in the way. The fact of the matter is the Middle East just isn't going to allow for a lot of easy export.
Are you a really messy eater, or did that monitor just shit all over you?
It shed all over me.
That's great camera right there.
That's a perfect defense, honestly.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to be shit on.
Nobody likes to be shit on. And it doesn't matter anywhere in the animal world. It tells you about the ability of predators in the animal world to endure shit, copious amounts of shit. Now, this is another semi-aquatic monitor. A lot of your monitors that are in this group that are the
aren't these like the most prevalent mildly venomous monitors? These indicus.
Yeah,
or
well,
indicus like don't you see a little more toxin in these smaller?
Some of them, yeah. There's been reports of people actually being able to feel the toxicity. One guy I was talking to Said he actually felt reactions from getting bitten by blue tails. I've been bitten by a blue tail monitor, and I guess I didn't really notice it. I guess I just chalked it up to getting bit by something, and my hand swelling. But this is a baby Nile monitor. Now,
So that's a Varanus naulicus.
yeah, man, he's pooping on me too. He's enjoying himself. The great thing about baby Niles, though,
These are your fourth largest monitor, correct?
no, I mean,
They're behind the Komodo, the Varanus komodoensis, the Varanus salvator, and the Varanus salvadori, which is
the croc monitor.
crocodile monitor.
But then
Maritime, no.
you've got Parentes, and
I
you've
forgot
got
about
various.
the Australian base.
Yeah, Australians are kind of interesting because Australia is almost like a monitor factory. They've got a huge variety of monitor lizards in Australia. And they've got the mouse monitor, all the way down to the little tiny guys that are just barely getting by eating bugs, or they're, eating other small lizards, all the way up to the Parentes, which are taking down rabbits and cats. And then your lace monitors, which I would love to be able to have a lace monitor. There are a few people out of Australia that have them, I think, privately. But that's a pipe dream of mine.
Speaking of pipe dreams, you mentioned the largest monitor species, which I believe the common name is Komodo dragon. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we have one of those?
Well,
Those
it's
are
funny.
protected. You
We're
have to
not
have-
the only country in the world. And
Yeah.
so some countries try to protect their animals from export. Now, one thing that the Komodo dragon had going for it was that a lot of people initially looked at the Komodo dragon skin and stuff like that, and they thought, hey, let's try to make boots out of this thing. And it was a no-go because it's just so tough.
It's got small bones connected into it, correct?
Well, yeah, all the plating. There's multiple species of reptiles that have that, actually. But they just became this obvious national treasure, and so Indonesia keeps them well protected.
For good reason too. They're not really appropriate in any
And honestly,
situation
it's not the
but
type of
zoos.
thing. It's not the type of thing you can be like, oh, it's grandfathered in because, yeah, this baby monitor magically appeared in my from my grandfather way back in the day. He's been breeding them all these years secretly. Although I do have fantasies about doing that with some Australian wildlife.
You have
I got-
fantasies about breeding some Australian wildlife, do you?
Well, yeah.
I got
So-
two. I got two books that I recommend. I have this one by Daniel Bennett. It's Monitor Lizards. It covers the natural history, biology, and husbandry of monitors. It's what I like about it is it's not all just pictures. It actually talks about each species in depth and gives you kind of a map of the range, which not a lot of books actually do that. They don't actually like give you the details, the dirty details that us reptile people really want to know. Another good book, if you like Australian and Indonesian species of monitors, this is a guide to Australian monitors in captivity by Dr. Danny Brown. These books, this entire series, are excellent. They're fun reads, and they really kind of discuss even issues with captive husbandry, and they take a medical approach to it. So if you're really interested in monitors, you might check both of those books out.
Well, and I've thought about what makes somebody into a monitor person. What makes somebody want to get into monitors? Because you've got this ability to have an animal that's clawing you, biting you, pooping on you, and it's not always cooperative like some reptiles are. And for me, what made me fascinated with monitor lizards is that, when you hold up a bearded dragon, for example, next to this, if I were to hold up a baby bearded dragon,
Yes, it's a real
you
fact.
can take and you can put them side by side, and you can look at those eyes, And that baby bearded dragon's going to give you a little bit of that sense of like a bird, and it's analyzing its world. And the monitor's going to do the same thing.
Explain that is not jizz on your pants.
We just had a comment that said,
it's
really
not a
on
weird
the text,
stain. It's monitor crap.
You have a weird stain that makes it look
Yeah,
like you just
it's monitor crap. I thought we established that. Sorry.
Well, they came into the show a little late.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God, it looks like he jizzed his pants. What kind of
Well,
show are you guys running?
I probably do that more than I want to admit. But the difference being, and you can actually really notice it, is that when you take a better examination of what's going on behind those eyeballs, the monitors just come out a little bit ahead with the intelligence of, something's going on in there. They're analyzing what's going on a little bit more. They're a little bit more predacious, and they know what they want. So like this guy wants to probably get away.
Like if you're comparing them to a tegu, tegus are probably more intelligent than a monitor, but they're not as calculating. Monitors will calculate something and react. It's almost a little frightening. They're a little more of what we depict as a velociraptor. Because the tegu's really intelligent. You can see the thought process, but there's no calculation there.
I've actually seen videos, and I've seen videos where people swear their tegus are showing affection to them, like wanting to be held, coming back to them for safety. And they look very, I would believe it from what I've seen of them. But you don't really get that with monitor lizards. No matter how much that monitor lizard is awesome, how much he'll fall asleep on your chest, he's still like that meme of a cat, like it's his world, and when you drop dead of a heart attack, you're going to be on the menu, That's what's going to happen.
That has happened.
Oh, yeah. And
Monitors
even for that matter, I don't doubt that tegus would, too.
I don't think tegus don't regularly feast on carcasses, whereas monitors will gather around a rotting maggoted carcass and just destroy it, bones and everything.
Monitors will eat something that would just make you puke
Another
looking at it.
great thing about monitors, if you're a big snake guy and say you've got a bunch of ball pythons, are very finicky eaters, and so you get these rats that don't get eaten, the monitor is a great garbage disposal. They pretty much will eat a ton when they're big, and they'll eat about everything.
I could get you.
Well, they will. There's two schools of thought. Some people don't even like to feed rats. With monitors, it's less of an issue. Once you get them, I don't think it's that big of an issue. But some people, they try to get away from any kind of predatory action in their training, any kind of prey item. But the problem is that when they're young, to maintain monitors correctly, they really do have to have a predatory stage that you can't escape from. You can't escape from now this
going to Bosque, going to the Bosque monitors, and I'll bring over some baby savannas after we look at George for a while.
Now this is George. George came to us last season, and one thing that happens with monitors sometimes, unfortunately, is when they come in and for stores in our situation or whatever, you'll pick up yearlings or old seasoned ones that weren't tamed down as hatchlings. They didn't get even a chance at that ideal situation. George was one of those cases where he came off the boat from Africa probably as a farmed animal and then never got sold by an importer. And so he had a huge skin infection and was really drained. And so we put a lot of focus and attention in getting him fat. And he's starting to really grow.
Oh, he's growing fast, like daily, we reckon. And, this is the second largest or largest Bosque monitor.
This is going to be the largest Bosque monitor.
So the white throat's underneath it.
Probably. They're both essentially very similar animals.
This is Varanus adamantius.
Yeah.
And the white throat is Varanus abigularis. Is that right? No, that's right.
This is
I'm not gonna lie.
Varanus, Varanus ixomanthicus.
I'm
No,
kinda
that's not
hoping-
Exanmanthicus. You're talking. That's the Savannah monitor.
Yeah.
This is Varanus.
Well, they were all once, believe it or not. It gives you a good insight into taxonomy. They were all once bulked in with Savannah monitors.
Having worked with both species,
Yeah.
this is definitely not the same as Varanus
No.
exanthematicus. I mean,
Well-
these things get massive. Their head gets as big as a pit bull's head.
Yeah.
You know,
These are a very impressive animal, fully mature.
I'm kind of hoping it poops on him too.
No,
No.
it's what is the black throws Varanus adamantius, right?
Yes, it's Varanus adamantius.
And then
But what
Abigularis is the one.
the difference is that Examanthicus is the most common. They're
And they only get about 3.5 to 4.5 feet.
yeah, and they're used in a lot of testing and a lot of stuff like this.
How large can one of these blackthroats get?
I've seen these guys well over 6 feet, a big male.
I've seen a 7-footer, and they're stocky.
Yeah.
So they're not going to hit Komodo dragon, but they're going to be a pretty big.
Well, yeah, this is an animal that has to live in Africa. Yeah, this is an animal that has to survive Africa. Now, you notice right here on his nose here, and one thing that you can distinguish males with easier, I do suspect that George is a male, in spite of the fact that he came into us very small and demure. He's packing on a lot of weight. Is this large nasal ridge here with these guys. And the males have a much more distinct bump right here where they can take in a lot more air and fight. But George is...
They're albigularis, so correction. Varanus albigularis ionodescent.
Yeah. And you hear the ionodescent part, and that's something that really kind of distinguishes a lot of monitors.
We're sorry about that. It was just a little bit of confusion. So they're the same, technically the same species as a whitethroat.
Yeah.
They're albigularis, but they're different subspeciation.
Frankly, the whole debate is what got me to my philosophy about a lot of taxonomy.
Which is what's your philosophy?
Well, that taxonomy is something that's fluid. You know, a lot of people try to be very specific with speciation and stuff like that. And it's getting to a point where the general community will follow and agree with a taxonomist or a respected guy who lumps stuff together.
Right.
But there are literally fly-by-night guys. There have been a couple articles published recently who just start naming stuff on their own.
Well, and it's even happened here in the United States
Oh, yeah.
with the timber rattlesnakes,
Yeah.
which are Cordylus horridus, and there
Yeah.
used to be Cordylus horridus,
Yeah.
which was the canebrake, and one was the timber, and now it's all just Cordylus horridus.
Yeah, and the biggest obvious example is corn snakes and Pantheropsis versus Lophet. And, you know, these things change. Some of them are responsible, some of them are not. The fact of the matter is this animal has an African Bosc-type monitor. They were all just called Bosc monitors, or they were all just lumped in together at one point in time in Africa by the English naturalists that first went in
Now,
there.
in Africa, these are a major source of bush meat.
Oh, yeah.
You see these things in some of the localized market right next to the radishes and the African land snails. I mean, they'll just have them gutted and hung, and they're used as fetishes. So there'll be a fetish, which fetish doesn't have to be sexualized. What I mean by fetish is it's like an item that is idolized.
But-
So
Can it be sexualized?
if you want to, buddy, I don't care where you stick it.
But I've had a couple of blackthroats now, and you're talking about animals that they're very particular. They have extreme levels of intelligence. Supposedly, according to some documentaries I've seen, they have the ability to count and maintain a number consciousness of up to 10. They've done lab testing with rewards in labs, in mazes, to complete mazes or to finish testing where the animals have actually chosen the number. And in my previous blackthroat that I had, they did have a very specific preference. I would feed it, and it's the strangest thing. I don't know if it's because it got bit a certain way or something one time, but the previous black throat I had was very picky about the number of mice that it would have to be fed. And if it was ever offered 3 mice, it wouldn't eat them. I'd have to throw in another mouse or take a mouse out. Did not like the number 3 with mice.
Watch Sesame Street, learn to count.
It's the strangest thing. And also, it was a female. It took me a long time to accept that it was a female. Hated me. Absolutely hated me. I would work with it, do everything. I could never even get it into this nice of a position as I am right now with George. And we traded it off as part of a swap with another store that was run by girls. It was an all-female run store because they had a big berm. And we traded that one off as a display animal. Go back to that store, and they're just playing with that thing like it's a puppy. You know.
So you think the problem was that since it was female, it just didn't like you? I mean, that's probably been a theme, right?
He had a cool cage and a concept that he was trying to
do with it
psychologically. I mean, he was trying to psychologically train it, and that thing got big. I mean, it was a wonderful animal.
Yeah, but let's put it this way: George is already almost the same size as that one, and we've had George a lot less amount of time.
Yeah, he's our garbage disposal. We use him. Anything that other animals reject, we'll use tongs and feed to him.
I did have an experiment that I've seen some people do, where I offered him some.
I'll do a baby boss.
I did offer him some ball python slugs. Some part of my mind said this is an Africa thing. And so what I did was I took those ball python slugs, I offered to him, ate them right down. He loved them. And then what happened was he threw them up. Yeah, you didn't like that, George. I'm sorry. I'll stop pulling skin off you. It's a bad habit on my part.
I don't need to do it. I have to do it to someone else.
All right. So George is telling me that he wants to go home.
You want to take
get you a baby
George back?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
sorry,
Well, no, I'll let you take him back.
Okay.
And
Here. I'll take George back.
Yeah, I'm not sitting there.
you won't sit here?
No, I won't.
Well, here, come help explain about monitors. I will sit here. What's our next monitor we got up?
This is not important. Whatever.
What's
We
not?
got a good thing going.
We do have a good thing going.
Yeah, we don't need to ruin it with something.
Or not, canoe? Always fun.
I can
What is this little thing?
I can smell this from a mile away.
Smell what?
I don't know what the rock's cooking.
So, what do we have here?
Your zipper's undone.
My zipper's undone.
It actually is.
Yeah.
Thank God that wasn't on camera, or it probably was.
I don't think it was.
Yeah.
I gotta go wipe my crotch anyway.
Did you leave
Oh, gross.
Did you leave the shop phone over here?
No, it's plugged in over there.
We need the shop
I don't want
phone.
to take a joke call. I don't want to.
You don't want to take a call?
I don't want to take
You're
a joke
live
call.
and you're whining right now.
I would like
All those calls are real.
Yes.
a.
And we actually may have real calls. We do need the phone either way.
Yeah,
We really do.
yeah, that's nice.
Why is that not? Do we not need the phone, Kurt? We need the phone. We need the phone. People
I don't
like
need
calls.
Jenny the transvestite reptile lover.
I
I
promise
don't
you.
need.
Trans, that's
I
not
would
reptile
prefer
call.
a serious question.
So, what is this little baby you just handed me anyway?
That is a.
Savannah Moss.
Little Savannah. And these things are pretty cute.
I got cramped on, so I gotta wipe it off.
We'll bring it over
I'm
here.
gonna steal pizza.
You're gonna steal pizza. I bought it for everybody.
Oh, well, I already ate, so I'm.
So we'll get this little guy up here for the camera so you can see the Savannah. So
Oh, how the hell did my phone get wet?
I don't know, but
That's a bad question.
you need to go.
You should know how your phone got wet.
So we got the shop phone here. You want to make sure it's still connected.
All right.
So this is a Savannah monitor right here.
This
You can
is
see-
Brandis exanthematicus. This is a
Cute little face.
Saharan
Don't you
species.
bite me.
This is kind of your generic of the varanid African Bosque monitor. These are the most heavily imported. They come in real good condition. They're
He is
captive
really
hatched.
not happy. There you go. Now you're happier.
Like every monitor, they crap on you.
He
It's
has already
wonderful.
crapped on me.
Yep, he's crapped on me as well. They you know, I have a feeling they're actually not African, they're German. So since they like to crap on people.
He actually is pretty nice, though. He hasn't tried to bite me at all yet.
yeah,
Not that it would do much.
these are primarily insectivorous, very terrestrial-based varanid, which isn't usual. Most varanids are an aquatic variation. These are probably some of your most terrestrial, along with some of your Australian species, like your Ackies and whatnot.
Oh, we have a call. Hello, you're live with the Reptile guys.
Hello.
Hello, who we got on the line with us today?
We got your one and truly, John Miller.
John Miller. I honestly
Yes,
don't.
I'm a publicist.
I have no clue about this, to be quite honest. I really don't. So John Miller, the publicist. I'm not familiar with John Miller, to be quite
Let's
honest.
just say I'm huge.
You're huge. That sounds more like somebody else I've heard of.
Yes, I have to stay undercover as John Miller.
So John Miller, who's huge, staying undercover. I think we might have the Donald Trump on the phone. So, Mr. Miller, where are you, or Trump, whoever you go by right now, what are you calling us about today?
Well, I'm worried about these snakes coming up along the border.
Okay, what do you mean? What are you worried about snakes on the border?
Well, you know, these illegal snakes crossing the border.
I don't think snakes have to get a green card, Mr. Trump. I don't.
I don't know who this Mr. Trump fella is, who you speak, but just supposing that someone had some power of some kind to enforce laws against snakes crossing the border of their own free will through the desert, could they possibly stop them?
Well, I don't think there's any reason to stop them. They're not doing anything. I don't know how you would stop them. How would you even try to stop snakes from crawling across the imaginary line between the United States and Mexico?
Because there might be rapey snakes.
Rapey snakes. So the rapey snakes are coming from Mexico?
They might be.
I don't know who you are, Mr. Miller, but this sounds like you're kind of not very bright right now. I don't know how you're going to keep rapey snakes out of the United States from Mexico. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, make America great again.
How are you going to make America great again? What are you...
You guys, I need a real call.
This guy's terrible.
This is driving me nuts.
This guy's terrible.
Let's have someone, if anyone is watching, let's have someone else call in.
You don't want to make America great again?
I want a serious question.
Here, see if this guy will climb up you.
What, you mean all these other calls that have, what about the stripper?
Oh,
Yeah.
God. This is what happens from monitor lizards in your hand. Okay. Who's up next, Kurt? I think it's you. I need to clean.
What? Why? No. God, you guys are pussies.
I have shit all over my hand. It looks like chocolate. Would you like some?
No.
I think Vince wants some chocolate.
Now, wait. Is this my beer?
That's my beer. You want a Hitler? I'll give you a Hitler with this.
No, that's my beer.
That's my beer. I swear to God, I set my beer down. Or is there one over there? That was mine. That one's yours. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, if you're not sure,
What?
you're going to get herpes either way. So
Here.
No. Suck, by the way.
Why do you... This is what Matt's problem is. He puts so much production in this stuff.
Somebody's got to.
I like the serious stuff.
Oh, I know you like the serious stuff, but at some point people start to snore.
They do. Am I right?
I mean, I love this stuff too, but my biggest fear is that I'm going to say some shit that gets confusing, like we had with the Bosque monitors. And part of that's got to do with the fact that, frankly, when I even started studying monitor lizards,
I don't think anyone's judging here.
well, no, but you feel judged, you know, because you're. But the fact of the matter is, is that when I even first started, they used to lump white throats, capes, and black throats all together in the same animal. And there was still literature around lumping them all in with savanna monitors. So let's talk about what's going on here behind me. We just threw this together. This is a 125 gallon tank, 100 gallon tank. What's going on is that we built in this nice background. We've got everything set up. We've got a basking platform, and we just filled it with water. It's already growing algae, which is actually a good thing. And then we've got it going into a sump system so that the sump can filter out a lot of the particulates. But the problem when doing something like this with a large animal is that they're not going to cooperate. So you have to make it simply, and you have to make it in a manner in which you can clean it easily and get in there without allowing it to become biological, like a dart frog tank, which we have to my left here. It's just not going to work. People ask me this question all the time. You know, gosh, can I put live plants in there with my snake? Can I put live plants in there with my turtle? Can I do this? Can I do that? You can, but you need to really prepare to invest and engineer into stuff like that, because it's just not going to work out. The animals are going to tear it up. They're going to move it around. They're going to destroy it. It's just too tight of quarters naturally for most commercial pet caging. There have been some really good examples of fully aquatic turtle systems, turtle tanks that people have put together. They've got some live plants, some really great biofiltration and stuff like that. But you're just not going to see it for the most part with like a big vertebrate animal. You know. So we do apparently have a real caller. There we go. All right, caller, you're on. Hi.
Turn your speaker off, Vince.
How big does a monitor?
Hold on, ma'am. Vince doesn't know how to run a phone, so we have to turn the speaker off so you come to the Bluetooth so we can hear you.
How big does a monitor lizard get?
You screwed up the Bluetooth. You got to turn your Bluetooth back on.
My Bluetooth is on.
Well, when you turn the speaker on, you screw it up. Just answer it, and it'll go right through the speaker.
Hello?
Now you're going to have to probably do it through speaker because you screwed that one up. God, Vince.
I'm sorry, I'm 40, not 14.
I'm 35 and I can run a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah, because you're 35.
I'm 35.
So what was your question, caller? How big does a monitor lizard get? Well, that's a good question. You really need to ask what species of monitor lizard are you talking about? Because monitor lizards range all the way from just a few inches all the way up to meters in length. And
So what about your dwarf monitors, like your Ackies?
well, Ackies are the most common commercially available of the dwarf monitors, your small Australian monitors. But there are even smaller monitors than
Like
them.
the stores?
Yeah, and
Aren't the
dwarf monitors.
stores like murderers? They're like, they murder like females and young, don't they? The store.
Well, Ackies do too. I've had Ackies murder even right. They're very precocious right out of the egg, and so they'll breed each other to death and everything else.
They get about what, 18 inches long? How big do they get?
A little more than a foot, 8 to 18 inches. Yeah.
What are your major groups of monitors?
You got your Australian Parentes, your Iodesis iodis monitors, which most of your African monitors are. There's only one major build monitor in Africa, which is several species of Nile monitors. But and then your Asian water monitors, Varanus.
So we're asking
Salvador.
about size of some of these. The callers wanting to know.
Well, the largest monitor on record, of course, is Komodo dragon. They've done testing with wild monitors to try to really gauge their size and weight to capture the biggest. And they're well under a lot of the mythological records. Most of the biggest wild monitors are coming in at like 9 feet and almost 200 pounds. There was an English species that was a pet that was in, I believe, in the Victorian Zoo, Victorian era, that they recorded at 10 feet, 300 pounds. But then the world record water monitor is supposedly over 9 feet, over 180 pounds.
You have another call coming in.
Okay.
Why is
Now,
this thing not
now see if you
connected?
can do your genius with the Bluetooth.
All right, caller, hold on 1 second. We're gonna try to get the Bluetooth set up that Vince broke.
I did not break the Bluetooth. You can't
You
break
did
a
break it.
Bluetooth.
Caller, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Wow, I fixed that in like 5 seconds. You're live with the Reptile guys. Go ahead.
Awesome. Hey, I just had a quick question about Australian branded species.
Yeah.
What would be the best starter species to get into goannas and why?
Well, right now, as far as what's available in the States, you've really got a few choices. And
There are
you're,
lace monitors, right, available?
yeah, if you've got a fortune,
They're 20 grand, right?
yeah, or something like
That's
that.
what you start with, the $20,000 one.
No, and they're not a
Honestly,
very good one either.
20,000 is not a whole lot to spend on an investment species, and if you could successfully breed lace monitors, you're gonna make money.
I don't think it's a question about starting to breed.
Yeah, I
it's
think Dave's had a little too much beer
the
tonight.
question of like.
I'm serious.
Well, no, we're not down
I
there.
said
You're just jumping right onto
But
Everest.
I think it's
is what
if
we're
I
saying.
want to
No,
get
I
my
know.
first monitor and be successful.
What we're
with
talking
ease and
about though
size and all
would
that.
probably be a Reticanthus monitor.
Red Ackies are a good start.
Your two primary, your most common commercially available Australian monitors are going to be your red or your yellow acanthus monitors.
What about the King? What was it called?
Well, there's Kimberly rock monitors, Pilbara rock
What are you laughing
monitors,
We got a blue text. I'll share with
um,
Oh, okay.
and those are very popular as well.
No, I'm talking about the ones that are like a Ackie King. Oh, what the heck are those called?
Oh, you're talking about like the sand monitors, the sand monitors or the Argus monitors.
Yeah, maybe.
The Argus monitors are your largest Australian monitor that you're going to be able to commercially get, next to a lace monitor.
And a Kimberly.
It's not
The
very
Kimberleys are beautiful. Kimberly rock monitors are one of my favorite. They're beautiful. They even almost get a blue to them, a gray.
What besides Acanthurus, what other species are readily available in the pet trade that are Australian based?
There's not very many. There's
Guys, if you don't know, Australia has really tight exportation laws on livestock and animals.
I think you
so-
mentioned the Stores monitor, maybe
Stores.
Mertens monitors, or technically, I guess the mangroves. Those can be found as
North
part,
Australia.
yeah,
into
part of their
Indonesia.
range. But they're typically probably going to be of Indonesian lineage. Yeah, pulled out. What was the text that was?
Do you really want to know?
People probably, yes.
Okay, the text was asking if the monitor would eat the oddball stain that's on your pants in a really bad location.
It sure would.
It sure would. You have to be careful about
The
that shit.
monitor will actually eat the faux jizz stain from the
I don't
monitor
think they're
poop.
copophagic. They don't really eat feces a lot. I'm
But
not
they'll
sure.
eat anything.
I'm not sure I'd be too interested.
I would hope not. But
No, they're smart enough animal to not eat.
Folks, keep bringing the calls and the text. We like the text as well. So
and for the record, the stain is actually poop. It was just in a really bad
Yeah.
spot for poor Vince.
he didn't randomly blow his load, and it
Not
wouldn't be
today.
that low anyways. It'd be a little higher up.
A little higher up.
Is that a small dick joke?
That was a small dick joke.
Ah, yeah.
You got that one. We're really happy for you.
Yeah, I've had a couple sips of beer. I'm not with it yet.
Not with it. You know, your tweezer's still in the back room. Is that
Yeah.
the problem?
Special.
Any
patty
other
tweezers.
questions, caller?
We did get off topic. We apologize.
Oh, no worries. That was pretty much it. I mean,
What-
I
what-
know that.
What kind of Australian monitors are you interested in?
What was that?
What kind of Australian monitors do you like? Like, have you looked into it a little bit?
Well, I do like the lace monitor, but I already know about the price. That's a little too high for me.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the Argus monitors, and from what I've seen, they do make good monitors to keep if
Yeah.
you give them amount of time that they
Well,
need.
that
So
was one of the best species I've ever worked with.
Yeah,
and I
Argus.
forgot about it 100%. The Argus monitor. That's a good medium priced, $300 to $400 monitor lizard, and it's a little bit smaller. So,
They're cool. They stand up.
yeah, they stand up. They have this weird, awkward stand-up position where they walk forward, and it's really so they can see and intimidate other animals. So pretty cool. We appreciate the call.
We do.
yeah, thank
Yep. If you want to call, if you're watching for whatever reason, 785-317-3344.
We're getting close to wrapping up, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for the calls.
I'm actually surprised that this went as fast as it did because we don't have everybody all here right now. Is somebody beeping in?
Go ahead.
Yeah, answer.
Hello?
You're on with Reptile.
Hey, it's Bill Clinton. How you guys doing
Jesus.
today?
I'm stepping out.
Oh, how's it going, Bill?
Well, Bill, I'm pretty happy. You know, my wife, she's running for president, and I heard that moron call you a little while ago about those rapey snakes, and I want to tell you, if you guys will elect my wife Hillary, which will give me a free run of the White House, we'll let everything come over the border. And I know you're worried about national security, am I right?
Maybe. Yeah, I might be.
Well, I'm going to take care of that for you, because I promise anything female coming over that border, I will personally vet. And I will personally make sure it's safe for America, and I won't let it stay until it has my white stamp of approval.
Well, that's half the problem right there, half the battle. All them females.
Well, yeah, and I'm working real hard for Hillary right now. She told me to keep an eye on the polls, so I'm down in Georgia. I'm hanging out at the Dixie D watching the polls, you know what I mean? Making sure that she's doing good in these southern states. But I just want to let you know, if you elect Hillary, you're going to have the time of your life in America. Because me being the first gentleman, we're not just going to paint the White House white on the outside, if you know what I mean. I'll be in there with a lot of free time.
All right. Well, thank you, caller, and God bless America.
It's 9 o'clock. Piss off. All right, everybody. This is the Reptile Guys. We look forward to seeing you next week. We'll try to find a new and interesting subject.
And a better camera.
And we'll be drinking beer and eating pizza while taking your calls. So we hope to see you then every Thursday at 8 o'clock live.
Let's be honest. It's about 8:05. It's about 8:05.
Yeah, if we're like 8:05 to 8:09, stick with us. We'll be
Don't
on.
give up on us.
Yeah. All right. Well, shut it down, Kurt. How come you don't bring up anything, Kurt?
I don't know.
We're gonna make you sit in a chair 1 week, Kurt,
Yeah,
The
people
whole
don't
week.
want to see my gut all.
and we're gonna